Realtist Real Talk Podcast. Hello, fellow Realtists, and thank you for being with us for the Realtist Real Talk Podcast. I am Amber Lewis.
And I'm Rob Pasker.
And we have the pleasure of having the W.I.R.E team here with us today. Our very own Dr. Courtney Johnson-Rose, President Elect of NAREB, Dr. Carla Braley, Dr. Cherie Smith, and Dr. Vicki McBride. Thank you, ladies, for being here with us today. Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yes, so the W.I.R.E team.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So tell us, ladies, is this your first midwinter?
No.
Oh, so you said you're not new to this.
Okay.
How's your experience been?
Oh, this is wonderful. Just knowing that you can go to one place, not only learn, but also to network.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that our network will allow us to increase our net worth.
Absolutely.
So it's extraordinary.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, your network is your net worth. So coming here, being amongst like-minded individuals, like-hearted, passionate individuals, it's nothing like it. And that's what keeps me coming back. It's coming and getting that energy, getting energized, getting motivated, getting inspired.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love my Realtist family.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we like the opportunity. We had the first opportunity last year, thanks to Madam Elect President Courtney and Ms. Pope, to do the W.I.R.E report. And so we've had an opportunity to delve further into the questioning that came from the audience. And so what they have them having the experience and being front line, we're able to address some of those issues and have a great dialogue that hopefully will have a great impact on our community. And we're just happy for the opportunity to work on the report.
We're excited for you to be here. So we keep talking about the W.I.R.E report, but what is the W.I.R.E report?
So, as you all know, NAREB has the 5-pillar program. Mm-hmm. You should be ingrained in the 5 pillars by now. You should think about it when you're in the shower and everywhere. You should be just naming the 5 pillars. But one of the most exciting pillars is W.I.R.E, which is women investing in real estate. And what W.I.R.E really is us as NAREB looking at targeting Black women. When we look at increasing homeownership, we have to be strategic about how do you do that. Well, 94% of home buying decisions are made by women, either single heads of household or married women. Even when there's couples, it's still usually the wife is the one that's pushing home ownership. So if we can get to her, we can influence her to buy real estate and to push her family to buy real estate, then it's a strategic way for us to increase Black home ownership. So the W.I.R.E report, this is our second edition of it, is our opportunity to be strategic with our pillar. We look at data. And from that data, we come up with recommendations on how do we move the needle of home ownership for African American women. So this is our second time producing it. It's always just mind-blowing to me to look at the stats, to look at what's happening in our communities, and to be able, it's a blessing to be able to create solutions and recommendations that will help Black women along the way.
Love it.
Absolutely. So the W.I.R.E report, what are some of your favorite highlights or things that you think are astounding that you found with this report?
You know, it's interesting because a lot of it was surprising to me when I first, I just hadn't thought about it because housing, home ownership is, we tend to think about it as the individual, but it's a supply as well as a demand. Mm-hmm. You have to have the inventory. Mm-hmm. So that those who may be interested have something that they can purchase. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things, just thinking about it as a prism and recognizing there's a lot of different factors that go in to really making the homes available and making them affordable. That was probably the big takeaway. The other piece was the challenge to be involved in the decision making, because the decision making for at least the supply side happens at the local level. Yes. And we tend to think, oh, the mayor's making it, or it's happening with this new plan, it's happening at D.C. But those small land use decisions are at your HOAs, they're at your local committees, that there are opportunities to be engaged then versus being reactive.
Yeah.
And that was probably for me the biggest takeaway. And I'm hoping that we've educated others to get involved.
One of the big takeaways for me when we did the first WIRE was that African American women are 3 times more likely to receive a subprime loan. So that to me is just startling. So that means when there's Black women, when we go out and we do buy, which is the right thing to do, we did the right thing, we did it, we have gotten a product that is not conducive to us being able to sustain that home. We're paying more for the same things. We have put ourselves in a at-risk situation when we were trying to do the right thing. So to me, that just speaks to the education that NAREB needs to do, that we're out there, we're trying, Black women are trying to make it happen, but we're not being presented with the right tools and the right loan products, and we're taking the first thing offered to us. So that just proves that there's a lot of education that needs to happen among Black women when it comes to homeownership.
I think that's a great point because, when I think back to the Sheba report, what we know is that when it comes to Black home ownership, and we were actually talking with President Pope about this because she lovingly came and joined us and talked about WIRE specifically and her excitement there. She was sharing, just the juxtaposition of the WIRE report back to Sheba. But again, what we know is that when it comes to Black home ownership, Black women are actually catapulting that number, right? And we're bringing it up and going back to what you're saying there, we're trying to do the work and we're trying to have goodness in there and build that generational wealth, but we are paying more. And there is an issue there. So I'm so happy that we're pulling that out and understanding, what's the causation behind that? Like what's behind the data and how do we actually rectify that?
Yeah. And what stood out to me, President-elect mentioned, gave us a charge about getting, activate, educate. And for me, it's also the engagement piece, to engage. And having this report allows us to have the data that will drive not only these discussions, but offer ways in which to engage our communities so that they can even be better educated on the products and services available to many of the companies that we depend on to get these loans, or to, whether it's through refinancing. But, we really have to engage our communities. And that has to be intentional.
One of the new things on the NAREB website that I'm excited about is a down payment resource page. So through the NAREB.com website, a consumer can go online, they can go to the down payment resource page, they can put the address of the property that they're interested in buying, and it will pull out all of the down payment assistance programs, all the special credit purpose programs available to them based upon where that house is actually located. They can take it a step further and they can put in some of their financial information, how much money they make, how many people in their household, and then it'll take it a step further and then show them what other assistance programs they have. So we can get into our communities and drive our consumers to this information, then we can help them make better decisions when they're out there.
So why wasn't this there when I was buying my house? I'm just listening to go out and just like, I want to start all over again. As I listen to different products, I was thinking, I'm sure they were out there, but part of it was the education. Because I didn't necessarily know about all the different resources.
We need a campaign to educate Black women about the resources. We want to do it. We want to buy. We're out there really looking. But we got to get to them and educate them that there's resources and opportunities for them.
And we have to get to them younger.
Yes.
That was one of the things that we talked about in the WIRE, the first one as well as that came up in this one, is that the average African American woman is buying her house in her late 30s or early 40s.
Yes.
And so we're missing, as one of the speakers today wrapped up, we're missing 10, in some places 20 years of equity. And so trying to have an understanding as to why the African American woman is waiting so late in life to make that decision, where she's probably the only one cohort that is doing that. Single couples, other races and nationalities, they're starting earlier. So we definitely have to educate, and we have to educate earlier.
Yeah, because we know home ownership has a direct tie to both health and well-being and those social and cultural factors that are extremely important in terms of raising a family, what that comes with, the access to, quality health care, quality education, all of those are extremely important.
Yeah.
And I was elated to hear about more information about the special credit programs, which what we wrote about. But we came to the conference, and you're actually doing it. And NAREB is connected to it. It's very involved doing some of the work that needs to be done to address the issues and partnering with the entities out there that are doing things. That is very impactful and is a part of activating and educating.
Absolutely. That's such a good, going back to what Dr. Smith said just prior, there's indicators, there's life indicators that show why people purchase a home, and understanding that Black women are not purchasing a home until later in life. I can speak for myself, as someone who's 37, I purchased my home when I was in my 20s a few times, but I'm not married and I don't have children, and that's an indicator as to why you should purchase a home. But how do we have a paradigm shift? How do we change the mentality? Say you don't need to have a home because you have children. You don't need to have a home because you have a husband or a wife or whomever it is. You need to have a home because you want to build your own wealth, and that's the number one way. And let's change that mindset. So that's such a key thing.
Yes. What we've seen through the data is that Black women have a lot of responsibilities. And sometimes that's the thing that's keeping them from buying. Whether that's helping taking care of their parents, whether that is student loan debt. Average Black students, according to the UNCF, graduates with $44,000 more debt than the average white student. So you have all of these things that you're dealing with that homeownership tends to get onto the back burner. One other thing that we looked at, this came out last year, was that Black women tend to be in service jobs. So these are positions that don't pay as much. We need to push our Black girls to get engaged in STEM and computer electronics and these tech industries that actually pay more. And we know that still in America, I think the stat is the Black woman makes on average 60 cents to the dollar of a white man. So again, we may do the same work, but we're bringing home 60 cents to the dollar, but we still have the same cost of food and gas and car and cell phone. And now with the raising prices in our homes, we have to be able to educate them about these down payment assistance tools and these resources available to get them over the hump so that they can buy at a younger age.
Yeah. So education is the key.
Yeah.
Outreach, getting this information out. Because I can feel it as a real estate broker.
Yes.
The majority of my clients are Black women.
Yeah.
They make the purchasing decisions in their family, so I can see it. But the big question is, how do we reach them? How do we get them? How do we get them younger? But that's the beauty of these reports, is they give us the raw numbers, and with these raw numbers, we can put together strategies to bridge the gap.
That's what it's about, strategies.
Yes.
Yeah, being strategic. Yeah.
So in closing, what would you say should be a call of action? So if we have a member out there that's looking and saying, I'm kind of on the fence, I want to put my foot in the water and say, maybe I want to purchase a home, but I don't really know. What is that call to action for them to go ahead and make that?
I would say look at our website, NAREB.com, and look at all of the resources available to you. When you see all of the resources available, my prayer for you is that you get inspired, that you know that there are people that are advocating, that are working, from Congress to individual Realtist members that are working to help make this happen for you. So when you see the resources, and hopefully our tools help you sort through them, but my prayer is that that's a motivation to know that people are working hard to open up the door for you to have the opportunity to own a home.
Perfect. Ladies, anything else to add in closing?
Well, after, adding on to Courtney, is then make that call.
Yes.
I mean, because we can spend a lot of time, as they say, analysis paralysis.
Yes.
So and one of the things that we know is that, and I I teach and we all teach, that we know when I have students that are applying for jobs, what we know is that a woman will wait until that exact job description comes her way.
Yes.
Whereas my men, if it's even close, they're going for it.
A couple keywords.
Exactly, keyword, job, income. That's me. And so we're looking for a basic tailored, like, oh, they put my name on it, it's my job. And I think that don't wait for the alignment of the stars. If you go to the website, then make a call. If they've got a list of potential realtors that are available in your area, just you have to make that step of faith.
I love that.
I'd like to add that
Yes, please.
disasters are going to be with us forever. We, the pandemic, and they come and go all the time, but that should not be a discouragement. All the tools, there's more available now than ever.
Yes.
And sometimes the worst times are maybe the best time to actually take that step to move forward and catapult your family forward in generational wealth opportunities.
That's great.
Mine is, we've been resilient.
Absolutely.
We have a record that resilience has worked for us, and we have to start making sure it works for us. Like keeping a record of what we do. Care work, we've been doing that for a long time, but make sure that some kind of way we can have it as a record so it can, we can use it to report income. We can to get to know what we need so that we will be ready and stay ready, and our resilience will continue to work for us.
Great. Well, thank you, ladies.
Absolutely. We look forward to what comes from this report in the program that'll come, and we also look forward to your presidency coming up.
We're excited.
Yes.
5 months.
5 is the number of grace, President Elect.
A big party in Houston.
It's a big part of Houston. It is an honor in my career to be the president of this association. So I look forward to it.
We're waiting with bated breath.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for having us.
Having us.